to another Plan With Me Monday, though it's not Monday. So I apologize, I'm a little day late, but I figured, hey, better late than never, right? So we're gonna go ahead and jump right in and really just talk a little bit about planning your life using the Planner Perfect method. And I always like to do, or I want to do, a little bit of an introduction about myself, because anybody who doesn't know me and who is new, I think that it's important that you know where I'm coming from and what this method is all about. But I am a homeschooling mom of 8. I have planned this way my whole adult life, and I learned the concepts from my mother. It's where it's rooted, because my mom always lived a very beautiful life, and the way she planned was on just paper that had no confines, and she wanted to live a life that was beautiful, and she wrote that out. So everything she planned came from a point of the heart of where everything she did was planned out beautifully. And so it was not just, grab coffee and go. It wasn't a life that was hurried or harried. It was always a life of, I want to live my very best life. I want to look my very best. I want to have the finest coffee. I want to have the very best produce. It was always coming from a place of just always wanting an enriched life and experienced the finest. When we ate, it was always on meals, it was always on the finest dishes. It wasn't paper plates. It was always just a recognition of beauty in the world and wanting to surround herself and her family around it. And it's from that root, that huge just example is where Planner Perfect and its method comes from. And so when you plan, so what I did is I made planners that were not just blank sheets of paper or lined 5-star ring bound planners, because there was nothing out there, and there still isn't anything like this, where you actually have room to change, evolve, grow, experience life in a beautiful way, and have room to write down exactly what you want. Because let's be honest, it's all about the feeling. It's all about how you feel. You want to feel good. You want to have easy going. You want to have peace. You want to have beauty, and so that's where this comes from. So when that's why I laid it out, the planners, the way it is. That's why it's called the method. It's Planner Perfect method. It's a blank paper. It's being able to just honestly take your pen, and from the moment you wake up, from the time you go to bed, how do you want to live and how do you want to experience your life? And so it's coming from that point. They're beautiful on the covers to just inspire you. You want to surround yourself with beauty. So I am an artist, and so I took what I love to do and I put it on my planners. And it was funny because I did that for me only in the beginning, because I used to use the method with lined paper, and because I couldn't formulate anything, and I never heard of traveler's notebooks before. And so I used to produce planners, and women, I would offer them to women of just, I put a daisy in the sleeve of a 3-ring binder. I was trying everything I could to keep my method intact, because it was the only thing that worked, and I was sharing that, and women were really loving it. And then when I found the traveler's notebook and that leather and the possibilities of that just soared. I was like, how can I use my method in a traveler's notebook? How? And I was just 1 month at a time. And then the inserts were subpar, but I started there. I used moleskins and I painted them for myself. And I just started painting the covers. And oh, was that fun, where I just was like, oh my gosh, to paint October and to paint a scarecrow on it, or a pear for fall. And and immediately once I just put it up on YouTube, women were wanting them, and I had an Etsy shop, and it's all been, it just stemmed from there, where now I have a store that offers just monthly planners to plan your life using this method, and it's just been really, really fun and exciting, and I'm so happy to be able to share this method with you because it is so satisfying. It is so successful. There is nothing out there like it. There is no way you can go and follow any kind of system or just have lines or just follow a time schedule. It's like a setup for failure. To go even by bullet points or lists is hard if that's all you go by, because if you only go by that, then you're reducing your life to a list. You want to plan a life that you want to live. Plan a life that invigorates you and excites you. And honestly, the way you find out what you're good at and what your gifts and talents are, I believe, is by living a beautiful life and writing it out. Because you'll find, like my mom, she would say, oh, I really want to eat well and organically and beautifully. So what did she do? She planned out that she wanted to have a garden, you know, and she found out that she absolutely loved it. And she didn't just go out there and pull weeds. She had like a bonnet that she loved and a special apron to grab her veggies and a beautiful basket that she put by the back door. I mean, we're talking like fairy tale living, you know? And I've lived that way ever since, and it's a beautiful way to live. And you find out what you love. You're like, I love this. I love that. I love doing this. And you're just loving your life. It wasn't just grab a coffee and go. My mom would find the best coffee and then grind it, and then the best cream she'd pour in, or that was grass-fed, and everything was always the finest and the best. And she wasn't legalistic about it. She wasn't someone who was like, well, you know, if no one else was doing it, it wasn't even like that. It wasn't a judgmental of anything. She just wanted to live her very best life. And if someone offered her something that wasn't of the finest, she still loved it because she was enjoying company, and to her that was beauty. So if someone offered her something, but she always found that she loved hosting because everyone loved what she did, and so she always hosted. And she would bake pies and the finest of everything, and always found herself loving everything that she did. And she hosted parties, and she canned, and she had a beautiful garden. And then she started to write books. And she's just someone she's a beautiful, beautiful example of living a beautiful, beautiful life. And that is what this planner is about. And I really want to, before I show you even just how I planned my life this week, kind of just give you a look. And whether you're new to me or you're not, I think it's just always a good reminder to know that when you plan your life, you're going for what you want to feel, which is we all want to feel good. We all want to plan a life that's beautiful. So when you're waking up, you know, you want to make sure you've got the time to be able to have that coffee that you love, to go take that walk, to do maybe some yoga, to have time to shower and do your hair, to slow down your life as much as you want. Just even being a homeschool mom doesn't mean I'm immune to busyness, that, you know, because I took my children, I plugged them into everything, and then I found out I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. There was no time for dinners. It was always very busy. I felt that busyness equated successful families because they were plugged into all these things, and we were driving around and doing this and doing that, and it just made you, it was a false sense of feeling like you were doing the right thing. And but I was stressed at the same time. There were no meals, so there was that side where the feeling, though, behind it wasn't good. My actions was busy, and I thought that was supposed to feel good, but it didn't feel good. So once I was able to say, you know what feels good is waking up when, waking up and feeling great and not stressed. It felt better not to be driving around everybody and always taking a crying baby somewhere because they would rather be home asleep in my arms. Or it just felt better when my daughter could really just slow down and figure out what she loved versus throwing her in a million different things and taking her crying to her soccer game when she really didn't want to go to soccer. I mean, so it was slowing down and adjusting things to what made us feel better as a family and us, and that's what really worked. So it's taking a different look about how you're eating, how you're living, and mapping out that kind of life. I mean, it goes so far beyond how do you plan your life and get organized. It comes like that's why my podcast is, it comes from the wellspring of the heart. I mean, let's back up. Let's not just back up everything that comes at us and write that down and be uber organized and feel so falsely important because you've got so much crap done. It goes so much beyond that, because ultimately we want to grow. We want to grow spiritually. We want to awaken from within and find out who we really are, and all that who we are means that we do create our own reality, that we aren't indeed victims of circumstance and of our world. We do attract to us what we're putting out, and we want to make sure that we're in a good flowing vibration and energy state where we actually are attracting what we want. And I think what majority of us, because we're unknowledgeable of really vibration and energy of what we were made up of, we're real sloppy with it, and we'll be upset 1 minute, high 1 minute, low 1 minute, not at all, because of the lack of knowledge that we are in control and should be of our vibration. We're just willy-nilly throwing out vibrations all over the place, and then what it will look like is that we are indeed victims of our circumstance, but we've actually created it. So we need to back up and go and understand that our lives and planning in a way that is fruitful comes from the wellspring of the heart. It comes from the heart. So with that in mind, we want to plan a life that excites us and invigorates us, and also getting things done as well, because that feels good to get things done. But when you light a candle and you start baking some bread and getting your hands in some bread, or feeding your family the best foods and picking the finest things and not ever really being hurried, putting yourself in circumstances and in a life that isn't harried and hurried all the time, it's evolving your way into understanding that, and then putting yourself in that by, maybe doing small changes so that you can then lead a more slower paced life, so that you can make better decisions and do more things and read that book and grow spiritually and take time to meditate first and to get in God's word and to understand God's spiritual promises for who we are. And when we're able to do that, then we're able to really script out and map out a life that we love, one page at a time, so that every page is just a scripted, beautiful life. I love to go back in and even be like, hey, this is that party that we had ended up to be really, really beautiful. You could even tip in a picture, or you could do anything that you wanted. So going even back in and some journaling bits of that day is part of what makes the method so beautiful. It isn't just a planner that harnesses your to-do list. It's a planner of a beautiful life. It's a planner of writing down exactly your deepest desires and all of the feels and the feelings that you want. So let's go ahead and I'm going to take you through my planner just to give you examples of what my processes are of when I am planning my life. I think if you're new to the method and you are wanting to begin, I feel like the more detailed you are on even the smaller things like coffee and your top 3 things you want to accomplish, or until they're habitual, then that's what you need to do. As you become more seasoned into the method, you don't need to do that as much anymore. You can, because those are so habitual for you, you can, like I used to, and even share with my Planner Perfect girls over on Facebook and my live shows, I would always say, really write down, okay, I want to get up at 5:30 or 6. I want to enjoy this kind of coffee. If this is new to you to actually be planning this, then I want you to get into the rhythm and the system of being detailed about even the slightest things, the smallest things that you don't think that you should. Because when you do, it's like a brain dump of those little desires you want, that you'll see those, how beautiful even the best cup of coffee is, or making a point to rise early, or making it a point to maybe take up the dishes in the morning because you've really mapped out in your mind and you're envisioning what that's going to feel like if everything is clean right when you wake up or before kids wake up. It's really just really writing down all those little things that can really bring so much joy. And once you get that down, then you can start, you know, not being so detailed about, well, get dressed or showered at this time. But I think it's important to understand that in the beginning, you probably should. You should be getting more like, okay, shower around 7-ish, grab a cup of coffee, and have it be this. I really want to try out this coffee, and it's this organic dark roast, and just really getting detailed. And I really wanted to dive into this book, so I think I'm going to actually read this many pages of it before kids wake up, or before I have to go to work, or this, or I've always really wanted to try yoga. This is why. And I think the success behind it is because when you're detailed, you're understanding, you're writing down a why. Like, I want to do this because it makes me feel good. I love this kind of coffee because it's more enriching than just something really quick. Or I've always wanted to do a coffee press. I think this morning I'm going to whip out that, I'm going to get my coffee press out and actually use that. That should be fun. And you don't even stop there. If you've never used a coffee press before, then I'll actually go through the pre-works of finding out how to do it before the next day, and watching certain videos or finding out how to do it amazing. Before the morning of when I plan on doing the coffee press, because that's the kind of visionary stuff I'm always doing. It's like, okay, I want to do yoga. So you don't just write down, do some yoga, because if you've never done yoga before, you don't even know where to go, what to do, or how to do it, you know? And so I'll take the time. If I'm really going to execute something, then I get detailed, like, okay, I found that this video was the best, or this DVD, or this. I really liked this gal here. I'm going to start off with these 2 little stretches, and I'm going to concentrate on that until I get really good at it, and really have an action plan and write that down. That's what those 2-page spread pages are so amazing about, because you have room to not just be good at cleaning a toilet and being able to put a check mark by it, but that you can actually write down, hey, I really want to do yoga and be good at this. And because I feel like it will really help me calm down, and to be able to stretch, and to be able to release negative thoughts from my mind, and to practice that will be good for me, to practice getting rid of negative thought, and to be able to be to stretch and be strong with my body. So be able to know your whys behind everything that you're doing. Why, I mean, and we're so busy, we don't even think about what we want, let alone the finest details of the finest things and the beautiful things of life. And it's all that is so important in being able to have a beautiful life where you are more spiritually awakened and actually be in control of your life, and you have so much control over your life and how you live. And it's being very aware of your vibration throughout the day. It's taking note. It's like, okay, right now I'm in a place that is negative. And it's being aware that, so that you can correct it and get into more of a positive place, so that you can keep on with a more positive flow with your day. It's just being aware. It comes from the wellspring of the heart. It's planning a beautiful life. It's slowing down. It's actually writing details. It's a vision board on paper. That is what a scripted planned day, like a vision board that's scripted. Not even so much visually, but you get so much vision in your mind from being really, really detailed. If I start getting really detailed about like what I want to wear somewhere, and I start writing it out, like these pants and this, and I can envision it in my mind. So it's like a snapshot. Same thing when you're detailed in the Planner Perfect method, which is what the method is detailed planning. It's like a vision board. So when you do that, then you're literally taking visionary, you're telling your mind what you want. And as long as you can keep that you get that, and you get that feeling like, oh, it's going to feel good to look like that, or it's going to feel good to eat that way, and it's going to feel good to drink this coffee, it's going to feel good to be able to slow down, it's going to feel good to do this, and you're writing it up, then you're already in a vibrational place where all of these things can be attracted to you, and there's just so much success and momentum in that's why there's so much success in the method. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're on this. I'm glad if you are on this journey, I'm happy you're with me. If you're new to this, I hope you try it. I mean, there is nothing to lose by trying this method. And I would love for you, if you are new, to be able to try it. No matter if you've got little kids, no kids, you work outside the home, and you're in the home, it works for any season. It's just a method of planning that allows you to be aware of your feelings in the matter of where you're at and where you want to go. And it's just, what's your number one, your first thing that you want to do is to take note that you want to feel good. And when you want to feel good, you're going to write down things that do make you feel good and make you feel well. And you plan that kind of life. It's a matter of how you feel. You want to plan something that makes you feel really good. And it's not by just obtaining and getting things done that people throw at you, but you want to feel like you are actually wanting to do this, and this is something you're doing because this is what you intended to do. And then and I never even check off anything. I don't even feel the need to ever check off anything that I do or set out to do. I have satisfaction just living a beautiful, well thought out day. And so when you put little lists in, that's totally fine. There's nothing legalistic about it. Like, you want to pinpoint things that you want to make sure that you do, but it's all enveloped in the beautiful day that you're having, and the candle that's lit, and the feather duster that's new, and the things that are beautiful to you and make you feel good, and you feel empowered and inspired. And that's exactly what the method does for you, and that's exactly what Plan Perfect does. So right now, I'm just going to spin you around. I'm going to show you my week and kind of how I've planned my week, and with pockets that are still there as the week progresses. And so let's do this. Okay, here we go. This is my September planner. You can find this in our store. It's super beautiful. And I painted this. I remember when I painted this, I actually painted this as invitations to a fall party I was having. And so when a lot of my paintings have such great memories tagged to them, so this is one of my favorite ones. So here's my calendar, which is just, it's kind of buzzing with a lot of fun, with important dates and Applejack festivals and birthdays and things like that just keep me, you know how to use a calendar. It's just, you never want to just live by one. And you want to make sure that your main planning pages are what you are going for. So here are my goals. I'm not going to concentrate on those this time. Another time, though, I will, because they're very vital to this method. But I am going to just, because I took so long talking to you with the method in general, I'm going to get right into my week. So here is where we're at this week, right here. So Sunday was actually, now these stickers, everything you'll find is my stickers and everything that's at my store at designsbyplannerperfect.com. And so they just bring really beautiful elements of beauty to your page. I had a shower that day, and it just, from the moment that this was so huge for me that I knew that I was to rise early. I even had my grandson that day. So here, just really being so seasoned in the method, I didn't need to write out certain things. But what you would want to do is, if you are new, is that you would want to the method, you really want to write out exactly what you'd want to do. Now, I've even did that though. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll put down like something that's jumping out at me, like 11 to 2. Let's remember, this is the shower time frame. Be ready and prepared. I knew that I had a girlfriend that was coming earlier than the 11 o'clock time. So that was something I really wanted to remember. And so I did put that first. I put down that my daughters were going to be here early to help me around 10. So I knew that I had help. And then here's where I put then up early, 6 o'clock, and get the house kind of cleaned up. I had my grandson even sleep over, so I knew I needed to really rise early and get some stuff kind of cleaned up and ready. And mind you, I was so prepared even just the night before. So here's some things: getting sangria made, champagne chilled, what I was wearing. We had a charcuterie out, and so these are the things that I wanted to make sure that I put out for the food. And I wrote down part of the day of how beautiful it was. Absolutely beautiful day. All of my daughter's fiance side was here. My girlfriend Andrea, Sophia came, and there was so much fun. And and so much fun and so much good was there. And so that was fun, of just a journaling of that shower, of my daughter's wedding shower. So I wrote down just a journaling side note of it. Leftovers, it was a busy day, so I had plenty of leftovers to feed my family. I also had some homemade bread that I made for the party, so we ended up having some grilled cheeses and meats and cheeses and olives and stuff like that, and popcorn. So I ended up doing a live and stuff like that. So it was something that was just a beautiful day, and that's an example of a day. Here is actually today. I love to inspire myself, rise early, let go, let God. Sometimes I don't even put an exact time because I have a little bit of flexibility, but today I got up at 6:45. I just loved it. I just know that between 6 and 7, I do want to rise, but I do want to make sure that I get sleep. So if something happens where, I get up in the middle of the night or something, I just make sure I get my sleep, because if I get my sleep, man, it's a great day. So make sure you get your sleep, and good 7 to 8 hours. Here is all my things that I'd like to do. Upload this from my business. I got little things that are jumping out at me here that I'd like to do. And so there was a lot of things that I needed to do. This isn't even today. This was yesterday. Now, no wonder why things were looking. I have my days all mixed up. No wonder why this was looking repetitive, because I did this already. So this was, I had a lot of things to do for her shower that I did. I put down what we're doing for lunch. I did what I had to take my daughter here. It was so detailed, and I was taking her to the barn, and I had a lot of time there. So I remember I was just like, okay, I'm going to bring my planners, and I'll plan while I watch her ride, and who was going to watch my boys. It was so thought out. Fryer chicken, all that. That was something I intended to do for dinner, but guess what? We ended up doing Godfathers because the kids begged me. So I had pizza come to the door. So it was just one of those things where that was my intention at first, but then we just got all spontaneous and did that instead, and I even wrote it down. So I took home my grandson and just water. And I read books and laid with my son while we just watched some food shows. It was kind of fun. So here again, where we get really detailed. My iTunes and my podcast is going out today. So shower early, all of that. Everything's just flowing really well. Breakfast, what we're going to do for lunch, running to Target. These are some returns I want to do. Lunch out today. What are we eating? Run to the store, grab a couple things. Home, my Bella wanted to bake, so we were grabbing things for her to do that. And then what we're doing for dinner, which was the fryer chicken, we didn't do. Now it's put just here. So it's just, do you see how I've got all of this? Decorating the pages with stickers. It's just, I love to put the weather, because if it's 90 degrees, I'm not going to plan to go to the park. Okay. So it's just one of those things where I love being able to make sure I know what the weather is. And here's some things that I'm doing, and I'm making sure that I'm leaving pockets so I can come back as the day comes closer. I have the weather and deadlines, and I'm really leaving this open at this point, and Wednesdays when I'll know more. Here's more pockets, but I know I always put my absolutes down, things that I know I want to do and have to do or want to get done. I always will put those down, leaving pockets. I even have our traditional pizza. Here is some weather, some things I want to do. It's going to be a very busy day that day. So I put down pockets of where that fun stuff is that we have planned, and then I'll fill this in as I draw closer. So that is a quick overview of what. And here I am even getting ready for my Sunday, just kind of did a little calligraphy there. But this is what these will look like, leaving pockets, being a visionary, thinking ahead, writing down some absolutes, as I always say, and then being able the night before, getting your pen out and just being like, hey, God, what's the next day got in hold for me? How do I want to do this? How do I want to orchestrate it? What can I do to live that beautiful life? And it'll just come to you. And the more you write, the more will come to you. So, girls, I hope that this has inspired you to try the Planner Perfect method, or if you have been doing this for a while, just to keep on going and even got some more little nuggets of inspiration as well. So enjoy planning, live a beautiful life, and until next time, girls, bye-bye.